I was lying on a gurney in the psychiatric ward, hyperventilating into a paper bag while a nurse checked my vitals every 15 minutes when my phone buzzed with a text from my wife, not asking if I was okay, but telling me she'd need some space and would be staying at her sister's. 12 years later, I found out she was never at her sister's that night. She was in a hotel room with my divorce lawyer's colleague, sexting him photos while I was 72 feet away, strapped to a bed because I was a danger to myself. If you got some time and maybe something to drink, settle in. This one's long and it doesn't have a happy ending, at least not the kind you'd expect. So why did I wait 12 years to tell this story? That's the question everyone asks. And the answer is simple, because I needed to become someone worth listening to first. Someone who couldn't be dismissed as the crazy veteran his wife said I was. This is a story about betrayal, sure, but it's also about what happens when the person who promised to love you at your worst decides your worst is too inconvenient for her Instagram aesthetic. It's about PTSD, divorce, and receipts. So many receipts. And it's about the long game, because sometimes revenge isn't a dish best served cold. Sometimes it's best served 12 years later on national television with your ex-wife's entire life attached. Let me take you back to the beginning. I met Amanda Foster in 2005 at a community college mixer. I was 18, she was 16, a senior in high school doing dual enrollment. She had this energy about her, like she was too big for our small town and she knew it. I was drawn to that. I was the kid who never left Riverside, never had big dreams beyond maybe becoming a mechanic like my dad. Amanda wanted out. She wanted more. We started dating that fall. By 2007, I knew I wanted to marry her. Problem was, I had nothing to offer. No degree, no career prospects, no money. So I did what a lot of guys in my situation do. I joined the Army. The recruiter promised me stable income, benefits, housing allowances, a path to college. Amanda thought it was romantic. She cried at my send-off to basic training, wrote me letters every week. When I came home after training, she had a scrapbook of every letter I'd sent her. I deployed to Iraq in 2008, 3 months after my 20th birthday. I wasn't even old enough to legally drink, but I was old enough to watch my buddy Ryan, different Ryan, not the one from later, get blown apart by an IED while we were on patrol outside Mosul. I was standing 6 feet away. 1 second he was complaining about the heat. The next second there was just pieces. I came home from that first deployment in 2009 different. Not visibly, I didn't lose a limb or get scarred, but I couldn't sleep. Fireworks made me hit the ground. I'd see Ryan's face when I closed my eyes. Amanda noticed. She'd ask me what was wrong, and I'd say, nothing, just adjusting. Because that's what you do. You push through. That's what they train you to do. We got married in a small ceremony that June. It was perfect. Backyard wedding. Amanda's mom made the cake. My brother Marcus was my best man. I remember thinking I was the luckiest guy alive. Amanda finished her paralegal certification that summer. Everything was falling into place. Then I deployed again. Afghanistan 2010, Helmand province. If Iraq was bad, Afghanistan was hell in a different flavor. I lost 3 more friends in 11 months. One of them, Kevin, died in my arms. I was the combat lifesaver, the guy who's supposed to stop the bleeding. I couldn't stop his bleeding. I can still feel his blood on my hands sometimes, even though I've washed them about 10,000 times since then. I came home in early 2011, and I knew I couldn't do another tour. I took my honorable discharge and tried to figure out civilian life. Amanda was frustrated with me by then. I could see it. I wasn't the fun guy she dated in 2005. I was jumpy, quiet, distant. She'd plan date nights, and I'd zone out halfway through dinner. She'd try to talk to me about her day, and I'd realize 10 minutes later I hadn't heard a word she said. I got a job as an EMT in 2011. Thought maybe helping people would help me. It didn't. Every car accident scene looked like an IED aftermath. Every gunshot wound took me back to Helmand, but I kept going because that's what you do. You push through. Amanda got a job at a mid-sized law firm as a paralegal in late 2011. She was good at it, organized, detail-oriented, ambitious. She started staying late at the office. At first, I didn't think anything of it. She was building her career. I was proud of her. But then came July 4th, 2012. We went to a BBQ at Marcus's place. Someone set off fireworks and I hit the deck, literally dropped to the ground like I was taking cover. Everyone went quiet. Amanda pulled me up, laughing it off like, "Oh, James and his military reflexes." But later in the car, she snapped, "You embarrassed me. Everyone thinks you're crazy. Can you just act normal for once?" I tried to explain, told her it wasn't something I could control. Told her about PTSD, about triggers, about how some wounds you can't see, but they're the ones that never stop bleeding. She said, "So go to therapy, fix it. I can't deal with this forever." I didn't go to therapy. I was too ashamed. The stigma around military mental health in 2012 was still massive. You didn't admit you were struggling. You definitely didn't ask for help. That made you weak. Things got worse. Amanda started working late every Tuesday night, said they had case prep with senior partners. She'd come home after 10 p.m. smelling like wine and fancy restaurants. Her phone was always face down. She changed her password, started showering the second she got home. I knew, somewhere deep down, I knew. But I didn't want to be the paranoid veteran. I didn't want to be the stereotype, so I said nothing. Our 4th wedding anniversary was October 15th, 2012. I made reservations at the Italian place where we had our first date, bought flowers, came home early to surprise her. She texted me at 4 p.m. "Something came up at work. Can we reschedule? I'm so sorry, babe." I ate dinner alone at that restaurant. The waiter gave me this pitying look when he took away the second set of silverware. By late October, I was checking phone bills. I know it's a violation of privacy, whatever. But I had to know. And there it was. 400 plus texts in 1 month to a number with a 3117 area code, all sent late at night, all on Tuesdays. I tried to log into her laptop, password changed. I asked her about it casually. "Hey, what's your password again?" And she snapped at me. "Why do you need it? You don't trust me?" On November 6th, a Tuesday, I followed her after work. I'm not proud of it, but I watched her drive to the Riverside Plaza Hotel downtown. Not the law firm, the hotel. She parked, checked her hair in the mirror, and walked inside. I sat in my truck for 2 hours, just sat there. My hands were shaking, my chest felt tight. I wanted to go in there, confront her, but I couldn't move. I drove home, and I didn't sleep, at all. Just lay there staring at the ceiling, thinking about the 317 number, the hotel, the late nights, the changed passwords. Amanda came home around midnight. I pretended to be asleep. She showered for 20 minutes. The next morning, November 7th, I confronted her. Straight up, "Are you cheating on me?" She exploded. "Are you serious right now? This is your PTSD talking. You're paranoid. You're seeing things that aren't there. Maybe you should check yourself into the VA before you hurt someone." That last part. Before you hurt someone, like I was dangerous, like I was a threat. She grabbed her purse and stormed out, said she was staying at her sister Rachel's for the night, said I needed to get help. I sat on the couch after she left, and something in me just broke. All of it. The deployments, the deaths, the nightmares, the hypervigilance, the fireworks, the failed marriage, the lies. It all hit me at once, and I couldn't breathe. I decided to drive to Rachel's apartment. I was going to apologize, beg Amanda to come home, tell her I'd get help, I'd fix it, I'd be better. I got halfway there when I passed the Riverside Plaza Hotel again, and there was Amanda's car in the parking lot. At 8:30 in the morning, I pulled in, parked, waited. At 8:47 a.m., Amanda walked out of the hotel with a man, tall, maybe late 30s, expensive suit. They stopped by a black BMW. He kissed her. Not a peck. A real kiss. Hands in her hair, pressing her against the car kiss. And Amanda kissed him back. I don't remember what happened next. I remember pieces. I remember my hands shaking so hard I couldn't grip the steering wheel. I remember this ringing in my ears. I remember being back in Afghanistan in that firefight where Kevin died, and I couldn't tell what was real and what was memory. I remember thinking, I'm dying. I'm having a heart attack. This is it. Somehow I drove myself to the ER at Riverside General, stumbled in around 2 p.m. saying, I can't breathe. Something's wrong. I think I'm dying. They rushed me back, hooked me up to machines, ran an EKG, blood work. The ER doctor came in an hour later. Mr. Mitchell, your heart is fine, but your blood pressure is through the roof, and you're showing signs of a severe panic attack. Have you been under unusual stress? I laughed, actually laughed. Yeah, you could say that. They called Amanda. She was my emergency contact. She showed up around 4 p.m., looking annoyed, sat in the chair next to my bed. James, what happened? I tried to tell her about the hotel, about what I saw, but she cut me off. James, you're not well. You're hallucinating. You're paranoid. You need psychiatric help. The ER doctor came back around 5:30, said they wanted to admit me overnight for psychiatric evaluation. Standard protocol when someone comes in thinking they're dying from a panic attack. Could be underlying mental health crisis. Could be suicidal ideation. Better safe than sorry. Amanda nodded, squeezed my hand. I'll be right here. They transferred me to the psychiatric ward around 6 p.m. I remember the bed had restraints on it. They weren't using them on me, but I could see them, these thick canvas straps attached to the frame. Amanda sat in the waiting room outside. I could see her through the window in the door. She was checking her phone. A lot. Around 6:15, her phone buzzed. I saw her face change, light up. She started typing fast, smiling a little. The nurse came to the waiting room. I heard her ask Amanda, "Are you planning to stay?" Amanda hesitated. Then, "I need to grab some things from home. I'll be back." She looked at me through the window, gave this little wave, and left. I texted her at 7 p.m. "When are you coming back?" No response. 8 p.m. "Amanda, are you okay?" No response. 9 p.m. "I'm sorry for everything, please." At 9:42 p.m., she finally texted back, "I need some space. Staying at Rachel's tonight. We'll talk tomorrow." I knew she was lying. Rachel lives 40 minutes away. If Amanda was going there, she would have told me sooner. She would have said something before she left. I started shaking again, but this time it wasn't panic. It was rage. My brother Marcus showed up around 11 p.m. I'd texted him earlier, and he drove straight from his place. Amanda hadn't called my family, hadn't told anyone where I was. Marcus sat with me. "What happened, Jim?" I told him everything. The hotel, the man, the kiss, Amanda leaving. Marcus got real quiet. Then he said, "That's not needing space. That's someone who's checked out." I spent that night in the psychiatric ward, bed with restraints, nurse checking on me every 15 minutes, fluorescent lights, that chemical hospital smell, and my wife was somewhere else, with someone else. They discharged me the next morning with a referral to VA mental health services. Marcus drove me home. Amanda's car wasn't there. I walked into our house and it felt wrong, empty. I went to her laptop. She'd left it open on the kitchen counter. Her email was still logged in, and there it was. Subject line, "Last night was amazing," from Trevor Lawson, trevor.lawson@riverdalelaw.com, to Amanda, timestamp 11:34 p.m., November 8th, 2012. While I was in the psychiatric ward, the email had a photo attached. Amanda, in a hotel room, wearing lingerie I'd never seen. The message said, "Can't stop thinking about you. Tuesday nights aren't enough anymore. When are you going to tell him?" I ran to the bathroom and vomited. Marcus pulled me away from the computer. "Don't look at it anymore. Not right now." But I already had. I'd seen all of it. The other emails, going back 6 months, since May 2012, May. We'd still been celebrating our anniversary in May. We'd gone to the beach for a weekend, made love, talked about maybe having kids someday, and she'd started fucking Trevor in May. Marcus said something that probably saved my life that day. Don't react, not yet. Get your head right first. Then we figure out what to do. Amanda didn't come home for 3 days. Finally called me on November 12th. I think we should separate. This isn't working. I tried to talk, tried to ask if there was someone else. She denied it. This is about you, James. You need help I can't give you. This isn't fair to me. She moved in with Rachel, said she needed time to think. I started seeing a VA psychiatrist, Dr. Sarah Reynolds, on November 14th. First therapy appointment of my life. I sat in her office and cried for 40 minutes straight. On November 16th, I got served divorce papers, filed November 15th, 1 week after the ER incident. The papers said irreconcilable differences and respondents' mental health issues creating unsafe environment. Unsafe environment. She was claiming I was dangerous. She wanted the house, both cars, majority of the savings, claiming I was unfit to manage finances due to mental instability. I called her. Amanda, what the fuck is this? She said, calm as anything, my lawyer advised me this was best. You need to focus on getting better. Her lawyer wasn't Trevor, too obvious, but it was someone from the same firm. Over the next month, Amanda told everyone we knew that I'd had a breakdown and scared her. She posted on Facebook, finally prioritizing my own safety and mental health. And sometimes loving someone means knowing when to walk away. Our mutual friends started avoiding me. Some believed her version. Some didn't know what to believe. On December 15th, I found out through Marcus that Amanda and Trevor went to the firm holiday party together as a couple. On December 20th, Amanda posted a photo on Facebook, her and Trevor at a Christmas market. Caption, New Beginnings, 6 weeks after she left me in the psychiatric ward. I started going through old phone bills for my divorce lawyer. That's when I noticed something. On November 8th, 2012, the day of the ER crisis, Amanda's text record showed 43 text messages between 6:15 p.m. when she left the hospital and 11:30 p.m. when she finally texted me, I need space. All 43 messages were to Trevor's number. While I was in the psychiatric ward, Amanda sent 43 text messages to her lover. I asked my lawyer if we could subpoena the phone records, get the actual content. He said it was possible, but expensive. And honestly, James, we're in a no-fault divorce state. Her affair doesn't really matter to the judge. Might not be worth it. I let it go. For then. The divorce was finalized March 2013. Amanda got the house, the nicer car, and $47,000 of our $68,000 in savings. I got my truck, $21,000, and my military benefits. During the financial disclosure, my lawyer caught something. Amanda had withdrawn $12,000 from our joint account on November 10th, 2012, 2 days after I was in the ER, moved it to an account in only her name. My lawyer brought it up. The judge said it was marital property, complicated to untangle, moving on. I sat in my shitty studio apartment on March 30th, 2013, reading the final divorce decree, and I thought, she's going to get away with this. Everyone thinks she's the victim, and I'm just the crazy vet who couldn't handle civilian life. I opened a folder on my laptop, labeled it Evidence, started saving everything, phone records, emails, social media posts, financial statements, hospital records from November 8th. Marcus asked what I was doing. I said, insurance, just in case. I moved in with Marcus for a while, kept going to therapy twice a week, got a 70% disability rating from the VA for PTSD, started getting monthly payments, took online courses in counseling psychology in 2013 and 2014. Figured if I was going to survive this, I might as well help other people survive too. In summer 2014, I found out through a mutual friend that Amanda and Trevor got married. Small ceremony in June, 18 months after she left me in that hospital. I had a moment of rage, wanted to drive to their house and confront them. Dr. Reynolds talked me down. What would that accomplish right now? Nothing, not yet. I kept documenting Amanda's social media, news about Trevor's career, their life updates. In 2015, I got certified as a peer support specialist for veterans. Started working at the VA hospital in crisis intervention. In 2016, I met Emily at a veteran community event. She was a teacher volunteering her time. We started dating slowly. I told her everything about Amanda on our third date. Figured if it was going to be a deal breaker, better to know early. Emily said, "That's horrible. I'm sorry that happened to you, but that's not who you are now." We got married in 2017. Our son Kyle was born in 2018. I started planning a non-profit, Battle After the Battle, crisis counseling specifically for combat veterans. And through all of this, I never stopped updating the evidence folder, never deleted it, backed it up in 3 places. In 2016, Amanda shared a meme on Facebook. It was one of those starter pack images making fun of people who use PTSD as an excuse for everything. She added 3 laughing, crying emojis. Screenshot. Saved. Marcus asked me once around 2018, "Why are you still tracking her?" I said, "Because someday someone's going to ask what really happened, and I'll have receipts." My nonprofit launched in 2019, started getting local recognition. By 2023, we'd helped over 400 veterans. I did speaking engagements about mental health stigma, news stories, local TV. My daughter Rebecca was born in 2020. Emily and I bought a house in 2021. I was genuinely happy, genuinely healed. Therapy worked. My family was thriving. My career was meaningful, but I never deleted the evidence folder. Amanda had 2 kids by then, 2016 and 2018. Her Facebook showed this perfect life, perfect husband, perfect kids, perfect career. Trevor made partner at his firm in 2021. It became Lawson and Associates. And then October 2024, I got a LinkedIn message from Amanda. "Hi James, I know this is out of the blue. I need to talk to you about something important. It's urgent. Can we meet for coffee?" I didn't respond immediately. Told Emily, told Marcus. Emily said, "What could she possibly want after 12 years? I said, "I don't know, but I'm going to find out." I messaged back, "What's this about?" Amanda, "It's sensitive. Please, I wouldn't ask if it wasn't serious." We met at a coffee shop on October 15th, 2024, neutral territory. Amanda looked older, tired. Her clothes were expensive but worn. She had this desperate edge to her. She tried small talk. "You look good. I heard about your nonprofit. That's great." I stayed cold. "What do you want, Amanda?" She broke down, started crying. And she told me. Trevor was being investigated by the state bar and the FBI. Embezzlement. He'd stolen $2.3 million from client trust accounts over 6 years. He was facing 15 to 20 years in federal prison. Amanda was terrified. They were going to lose everything, the house, the cars, the savings, everything. And then she said it. "I need you to write a character reference letter for me for the custody hearing. Trevor's lawyer says if I have support from people who knew me during hard times, it'll help show I'm a stable parent." I just stared at her. "You want me, the man you abandoned in a psychiatric ward, divorced in a week, and slandered as dangerous, to vouch for your character?" Amanda was crying. I know how it sounds. But please, my kids don't deserve this. I've changed. Trevor and I, we're different people now." I said, "Are you?" She got desperate. "I'll do anything. I'm sorry, okay?" I'm sorry for how things ended, but this isn't about us. It's about two innocent kids. I looked at her, this woman who'd destroyed me 12 years ago, this woman who'd been living her perfect life while I rebuilt mine from nothing. And I said, let me think about it. I went home, told Emily everything. Emily said, are you actually considering helping her? I said, no, but I'm considering using this. 3 months earlier, a documentary producer had reached out to me. PBS was doing a feature on veteran mental health. They wanted my story. I declined, said I wasn't ready to be that public. Now I was ready. I contacted the producer. I want to tell my story, all of it, including what my ex-wife did. The producer was thrilled. This is exactly the kind of systemic story we need. We scheduled filming for November 8th, 2024, exactly 12 years after the ER incident. I texted Amanda on October 26th. I'll help you, but I need some time to write something thoughtful. Can we meet again? She was relieved. Thank you. Thank you so much. I said, actually, I think I do know what this means. We met again on October 28th. I recorded the conversation, legal in our state, one-party consent. I asked her, do you remember November 8th, 2012? She got uncomfortable. Of course. That was when you had your crisis. Where did you go that night? After you left the hospital? I went to Rachel's. I told you. You sure? She got defensive. Why are you bringing this up? That was 12 years ago. I thought we were past this. I said, just want to make sure I remember correctly. For the letter. She looked nervous. Look, James, I don't want to rehash old stuff. Can you just write the letter, please? I said, I'll have something for you by mid-November. I spent the next week working with the documentary producer and my lawyer, made sure everything was legally sound, organized all the evidence into presentation format, hospital records from November 8th, phone records showing Amanda's 43 texts to Trevor while I was in the ward, the email, the financial records showing the $12,000 withdrawal, the divorce filing timeline, screenshots of her social media posts mocking PTSD, timeline of her relationship with Trevor. I contacted some of Amanda's old friends, showed them the evidence. Some agreed to on-camera interviews. They were shocked, and I told my family, told Emily, told my nonprofit board, this is going public, it might get ugly. Emily said, are you sure? I said, it already got ugly 12 years ago. I'm just making sure everyone knows it. November the 8th, 2024. I sat down for a 4-hour interview, told the whole story, showed every piece of evidence. The producer asked, why did you wait 12 years to tell this publicly? I said, because I needed to become someone I was proud of first. I needed to make sure that when I told this story, it wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. And I needed to make sure I had every single receipt so no one could call me the crazy veteran ever again. Then came the moment I'd been planning for months. Your ex-wife contacted you recently, correct? Yes, about 2 weeks ago. What did she want? She asked me to write a character reference letter for her custody hearing. Her husband's going to prison for embezzlement. She needed someone to vouch for her character. Did you write it? I did. I pulled out the letter, read it on camera. To whom it may concern, I am writing regarding Amanda Lawson. I knew her for 12 years of my life, 7 years as my partner, 4 as my wife, and 1 year as the person who taught me that sometimes the worst wounds aren't the ones you get in war. They're the ones inflicted by people you trusted with your life. On November 8th, 2012, while I was in a psychiatric ward after a severe PTSD crisis, Amanda sent 43 text messages to her lover, a man I didn't know existed. She withdrew $12,000 from our joint account while I was vulnerable. She filed for divorce 7 days later, claiming I was dangerous. And then she moved on, married him, built a life. I don't know if Amanda is a good mother. I hope she is. Her kids deserve that. But I know with certainty she is not the person she presented herself as. and I have 12 years of receipts to prove it. Did you send her that letter? No, I sent her a link to this interview instead. The documentary team created a 30-minute preview cut, released it online November 12th. I sent Amanda the link November 11th. Simple message. I finished the letter. You can see it here. She called me at 11:47 p.m., hysterical, screaming. What did you do? I said, calm. I told the truth. You're destroying my life, my kids, my career. Funny. That's exactly what you did to me 12 years ago, except I was actually telling the truth about what happened to me. Were you? She threatened to sue. My lawyer sent a cease and desist. The preview went viral. 4 million views by November 13th. Local news picked it up by November 15th. National news by November 18th. Amanda's law firm, not Trevor's, a different one where she'd been working, placed her on administrative leave November 14th. They fired her November 18th for conduct unbecoming and violation of firm values. Turns out her firm did a lot of veteran pro bono work. Those old social media posts mocking PTSD didn't play well. Trevor's trial got fast-tracked. Prosecutors' office wanted to avoid looking soft on white-collar crime with all the media attention. Their assets got frozen. House went into foreclosure. Amanda moved with her kids into her sister Rachel's 2-bedroom apartment. Amanda's mother called her a disgrace. Her father was dead, but her mom said he'd be ashamed. Their social circle evaporated. Friends ghosted her. Other moms at school whispered. She couldn't go to the grocery store without being recognized. On November 20th, Amanda had a severe panic attack. Rachel called an ambulance. They took her to the ER, bitter irony, and released her with anti-anxiety medication. Her son, 10 years old, asked her, Mom, why is everyone saying mean things about you online? Amanda couldn't answer. On November 26th, I got a call from Rachel. Are you happy now? My sister tried to hurt herself last night. I felt my stomach drop. What? She took a bottle of pills. I found her in time. The kids were in the next room. The kids, James. Is this what you wanted? I never wanted. You got your revenge. Congratulations. You destroyed her. But you know who else you destroyed? 2 kids who didn't do anything wrong. My 10-year-old nephew Googles his mom and finds 100 videos calling her a monster. Is that justice? She hung up. I sat with that for hours. Talked to Emily. Did I go too far? Emily said, I don't know. Maybe, but she went pretty far too, didn't she? I called Dr. Reynolds, had an emergency session. I wanted accountability, not this. She said, you can't control how the internet responds. You told the truth. What they do with it is on them and on her. She made choices 12 years ago. You made choices now. Both have consequences. Trevor's trial was set for December 5th. His lawyer tried to claim the documentary prejudiced the jury pool. Judge denied it. Some people online started saying, this has gone too far and those poor kids. But most still supported me. She reaped what she sowed. I stopped reading comments December 1st. I had a nightmare that night, first one in months. I was back in the psychiatric ward, but Amanda was in the bed next to mine, also strapped down. She looked at me and said, now you know how it feels. I woke up shaking. I called Dr. Reynolds again. I think I need to talk. December 50th session, I said, I thought I'd feel good about this, and I do, but also I don't. She said, that's called conscience. It's healthy. But she deserved this, right? Both things can be true. She did something unforgivable, and the consequences are severe, and you can feel complicated about that. I realized something. I didn't regret telling the truth, but I regretted not thinking about her kids. They didn't ask for any of this. On December 10th, I emailed Rachel. Not Amanda, Rachel. I know I'm the last person you want to hear from, but I want to help Amanda's kids if I can. Not for her, for them. Rachel was skeptical, I explained. My nonprofit has a program for kids dealing with family trauma. I'd like to offer free counseling slots. Completely confidential. Amanda doesn't even have to know I arranged it. Why would you do this? Because I know what it's like when adults' bullshit ruins a kid's life, and I have resources now. I should use them. Rachel agreed. Set up counseling for both kids. I paid for it personally, anonymously, through the nonprofit. Amanda never knew, at least not then. The full documentary aired January 10th, 2025, 90 minutes, PBS and streaming. 15 million views in the first week. Other veterans came forward with similar stories, partners who'd abandoned them during mental health crises. Mental health organizations cited it as an important awareness tool. I did interviews, NPR, CNN, veteran podcasts. Always careful to say this isn't about one person. It's about a system that fails people when they're vulnerable. My nonprofit got $500,000 in donations after the documentary. We'd been struggling. Now we could expand, hire more counselors. My daughter Rebecca asked me, "Daddy, why do people keep saying thank you to you?" I said, "Because I told a story that helped people feel less alone." She said, "That's nice." I said, "And yeah, it is." Trevor was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison in March. Amanda wasn't charged. No evidence she knew about the embezzlement. Marcus texted me, "Trevor got 12 years. Poetic." I said, "I don't care anymore." "Bullshit." "Okay, I care a little, but not like before. It's just done." In April 2025, I got an email from Amanda. First direct contact since the documentary. Subject line, "I don't expect you to read this." The letter was long, not quite an apology. "I've had a lot of time to think. I was young and stupid and selfish. I didn't understand what you were going through. I thought your PTSD was something you could just get over. I was wrong. I was cruel. I don't expect forgiveness, but I need you to know. I'm sorry for leaving you, for lying, for everything. My kids are in therapy now. I don't know who arranged it, but I have my suspicions. Thank you. They're the only good thing I ever did. You won. I hope you're happy. I genuinely mean that." I read it twice. Didn't respond immediately. Talked to Emily. Talked to Dr. Reynolds. On April 20th, I wrote back, "Amanda, I don't need you to tell me I won. I didn't do this to win. I did it because for 12 years people believed a lie about who I was, and I was tired of living in the shadow of your version of me. You're right. You were cruel. You left me in one of the darkest moments of my life, and you never looked back. But I'm not the same person you left in that hospital bed. I survived. I thrived. I built something that matters. You didn't take that from me. You just delayed it. I don't forgive you, but I don't hate you either. I hope you figure out how to be a better mother than you were a wife. Your kids deserve that. James." I sent it, then I deleted the evidence folder from my computer, kept one backup on an external drive in a safe deposit box, just in case. But I was done looking at it. A few weeks ago, a new veteran came into the nonprofit for intake, 26 years old, struggling with transition. He said, "I heard about your story, about what your wife did. That's why I came here, because I figured you'd get it." I said, "I do get it, and you're going to be okay. I promise." After the meeting, I walked to my truck, stopped, looked up at the sky, took a deep breath. I thought about that phrase I'd told Amanda all those years ago. Some wounds you can't see, but they're the ones that never stop bleeding, unless you learn to stitch them yourself. I got in my truck, drove home to Emily and the kids. On the radio, NPR was doing a story about veteran mental health. They mentioned my documentary. I changed the station to classic rock, smiled. Amanda was right about one thing. I did win, but not because she lost. I won because I learned how to love the person I became after she left, the person who survived Afghanistan, the person who survived her, the person who built something meaningful out of all that pain. And that's something she can never take from me. People always ask me if I regret going public with my story, if I think it was worth it. And the truth is, I don't think about it in those terms anymore. I told the truth. The truth had consequences. Some I expected, some I didn't. Amanda lost almost everything. Her job, her reputation, her marriage, her financial security. But I gained something she could never understand. The freedom that comes from refusing to carry someone else's shame. I don't know if she's become a better person. I don't know if she ever really apologized to herself for what she did. But I know this. I am no longer the broken veteran she left in that hospital. I'm the man who survived her in Afghanistan and every other battle I've fought. And that man, he's doing just fine.